Now, the NHS has warned, we've been talking about it all morning, haven't we, that there will be a significant reduction in vaccine supplies next month, which could mean millions of people under 50 having to wait longer for their first jab than they thought.
Yeah, the drug companies deny there are any problems with supply. So let's find out what's going on. Joining us now, Housing Secretary Robert Jenrick. Mr. Jenrick, a very good morning to you. Why have we run into this roadblock?
Well, good morning. The first thing to say is that we do have line of sight for enough vaccines to meet our targets. So that means all of the first categories 1 to 9, the over 50s and those with clinical vulnerabilities will still get vaccinated by the middle of April. And our longer term target of ensuring that every adult in the UK gets their first jab at least by the end of July. Again, we've got line of sight. We know we are on course to meet that target. But there are some supply issues right now.
Just sorry to interrupt you. You're confident about that, even based on the new reports we're hearing. One of those from the Serum Institute talking about, you know, India, which is India's world's biggest producer of vaccine. They're talking about production problems in India. So even despite this morning's information, you don't see that as a problem?
Yeah, I think that's a really important point. If people are watching at home and are concerned that they are in those categories 1 to 9, they're over 50 or they've got other clinical vulnerabilities and concerned that they might not get vaccinated by our target of mid-April, there isn't any reason to be worried. We are going to get you vaccinated with your first jab by then. And secondly, if you've had your first jab but are waiting for the second one, you have an appointment, those appointments are definitely all going to be honoured. So we're on course to meet our targets, but there are some supply issues, and those are things we are not unexpected. We knew that there would be some ups and downs in the process, and we've built an infrastructure, an amazing infrastructure across the country that is capable of doing millions more jabs than we are at the moment.
Yeah. Can you confirm it is this production problem at the Serum Institute of India which has caused the delay?
No, I don't think it would be wise of me to focus on particular countries or manufacturers or factories.
Because it's been widely reported, you see. And so when you say you're confident and you can see line of sight, but there are going to be bumps in the road, immediately what people think is, hang on, this is one of those bumps in the road. And we've had a lot of them during this pandemic, haven't we? You know, government ministers promising things that actually circumstances meant they couldn't deliver, not any accusations there, just circumstances change. But you are not wanting to focus on this. Why?
Well, as I say, we are on course to meet our target. So there's no sense that the vaccine rollout is going to be slower than we had forecast.
Okay, so can you confirm we're on course because we already have in the country enough to deliver, and even if there was total disruption in the supply, we'd still deliver, or we're on course because there's an expectation of supply that might not be met?
We have line of sight. We're confident that we have
I don't know
sufficient
what line of sight
vaccines.
means, Mr. Jenrick. I'm so sorry. It might be me being an idiot, but I don't know what you mean by line of sight. It's either we've got the vaccines, we're confident we can deliver, or there might be a problem with supply.
There isn't a problem with supply that means there's any reason to be worried about meeting the target of vaccinating the groups 1 to 9 by the middle of April. So we are in discussion with the manufacturers and we're confident they're going to be able to get us the jabs that we need to do that. However, there are issues internationally with supply beyond that. And that means that although we have the infrastructure to go well beyond those targets, we won't be able to do that just yet. But we have got confidence that as we move into May, June and July, we will be able to get the number of jabs that we need to increase once again during those months.
So I think April will be... So can I suggest, Mr. Jenrick, that you are moving the goalposts slightly? Because the under 50s did expect to be given the vaccination in April. You've now gone back to your original schedule. The fact of the matter is you don't have enough supply, do you, right now, to do what the under 50s were expecting you to do?
No, supply is finite, and we're going to concentrate supply, as we had said originally, on groups 1 to 9, which is the over 50s plus those under 50 who've got specific vulnerabilities, the clinically extremely vulnerable. So we will meet our commitment to that. But you're right to say that We don't expect to have sufficient supply to go over and above that during the course of April.
And
that will have to wait until the month of May.
Okay. So there are people who would have expected to be vaccinated, and they will now not get their vaccination at the time that they expected it to. If Ursula von der Leyen follows through on her threat to stop exports, to what extent is that going to threaten people getting their vaccinations?
Well, I was very surprised and disappointed by those comments. The Prime Minister has spoken to Ursula von der Leyen earlier in the year, and she was very clear to him that the commercial, contractual responsibilities that have been entered into by manufacturers, all manufacturers, should be honoured, and that we are going to work together as one international community, as friends and neighbours, to ensure that there is the free flow of vaccines. We're all reliant on a very complex international web of supply chains to deliver not just the vaccine programme, but many other things related to our response to COVID-19. And it is in no one's interests that we get into these sorts of conversations and vaccine nationalism. And we certainly aren't going to stoke that fire.
No, of course
we want to work with our friends and neighbours in the EU.
But she has said very publicly that they might stop the export of doses of vaccine. These are life-saving. Our vaccination programme has, up until this point, been pretty successfully smooth running. What impact would it have?
Well, we're going to hold Ursula von der Leyen and the European Union to the commitment that they made to the Prime Minister earlier in the year, that contractual responsibilities won't be interfered with in any way. And I very much hope that she will stick to that clear commitment.
I think we all hope.
We certainly won't be impeding the supply of vaccines.
I think Susanna's question was, what impact would it have if she does carry it through?
Well, we are taking a cautious and careful approach. We believe we have line of sight, as I said, which means sufficient confidence that we have enough vaccines to meet our targets, to honour all the appointments that have been made. And April will be a month when I think there'll be more second jabs than first ones, because all those people who got vaccinated at the beginning of the year will be coming in for their appointments. So no one should be worried that their appointment won't be honoured. And those people over 50, plus, as I said, those with other vulnerabilities, they will also still be able to get vaccinated. But it does mean, because of some supply issues, that others will have to wait just a little bit longer. Okay. But overall, let's step back. Overall, the vaccine programme is still doing extremely well by every objective standard. We've now vaccinated over 25 million people.
Without
and yesterday alone, we vaccinated over half a million people.
Yeah, super. It has been an incredible effort. You are the Housing Secretary. Rough sleepers have been, always a massive issue and a tragic one. But during the pandemic, you've managed to help rough sleepers. How are you going to continue that beyond?
Yeah, thank you. I think one of the things we should be proud of as a country is the way we've looked after the people sleeping rough on the streets. A very large number of those people have been helped into safer accommodation, sometimes quite temporary in terms of rented hotels and B&Bs. But now the task is for us to ensure that they don't return to the streets, particularly as lockdown starts to ease and we go back to a degree of normality. And so we're investing in more homes and special types of housing where they're also going to have the wraparound care that they need for mental health, for substance misuse, and for other issues that they will need to work through as they begin to rebuild their lives. And the Chancellor and I have made available £400 million to support the creation of 6,000 special new move-on accommodation units to help this group of people, because I want to see us build on the good work that we've done over the course of the last year and ensure that nobody should need to sleep rough on our streets. That's our objective. Well, there's going to be some challenges ahead, but we're very determined to try and achieve that.
And housing is your department, and it's a laudable aim that you outlined there. Dominic Cummings made some extraordinary statements about the Department of Health yesterday, including the fact that it was an absolute total disaster. Is that your experience of the Department of Health?
No, he was talking about the very early stages of the pandemic and some of the challenges that we were facing, as every other government did around the world, to access PPE when demand was so great.
So was it a disaster then, in your experience?
No, I don't know. That wasn't my experience. I think that everybody within government, within the NHS, within local councils, has worked unbelievably hard over the course of the last year. It's been a team effort. Some things have been challenging. Others, like the vaccine rollout, have been phenomenally successful. And I'm just grateful for everybody who's worked so hard, gone the extra mile to try to get the country through this very challenging 12 months.
All right, Robert Jenrick, we have to leave it there. Thank you.